If these factors are appropriately and adequately put together at the right time, they can improve on the performance of the workers in such organization. The other one that we have is working hours. If the working hours of worker are reasonable, then the efficiency will be very high. But if the working hour is not palatable, is not favorable to them, working extra hours without any pay or without any benefit will definitely reduce the efficiency of labor. The other one is the environment. If the working environment of the workers is not favorable, definitely the workers will not be able to do some things at the right time, and they will not be able to perform very well. And the last one I have is racial qualities. Some races are definitely blessed with the ability to work harder. They are inbuilt are very, very strong, that they can perform in some kind of production than the other race, because their race are usually blessed with one strong effort or the other in order to work harder over a particular production or the other. Now, what are the factors that can be employed, that can be used to promote the efficiency of labor in an organization? Number one, increase in wages. If the increase and other benefits of the workers are increased, are added, and are given at the appropriate time, the workers will tend to work very harder and to increase their efficiency. Number two, technical education. There should be vocational, technical, and commercial education provided for the workers in order to improve their knowledge, to improve their capacity, to improve their quality over the work they are doing, such as organizing seminars and some other beneficial programs that will help them to really get more information on what they are doing, so that they will be able to perform better. And the other one I have here is medical care. If there is medical care provided for the workers, anyone that is very, very sick will be able to regain his or her strength on time and be able to work very hard and conveniently continue working harder. As you know, a very sick worker cannot perform well like a very healthy worker in an environment. The next one we have is labor law. Labor law can come in where from example, for example, like the trade union. If the trade union have law, rules and regulations that guide the organization against any exploitation from the government or the employers. So such labor law tends to increase their efficiency, tends to increase their productivity, because there will be no room for exploitation, there will be no room for cheating over their work. So those are the factors that can help the efficiency of labor, that can help the labor to perform very well over a particular period of time in an organization or the other. That is the end of the labor market. Now, let's consider the following questions that are put together under this topic. The first one, the money paid per hour or weekly for work done is known as dash. A, cost. B, bonus. C, time rate. D, wage rate. 2. The total amount of goods and services the labor can use his money to buy is called dash. A, nominal wage. B, real wage. C, money wage. D, labor wage. 3. Labor force can also be referred to as dash. A, active population. B, nominal population. C, dependent population. D, none of the above. Question 4. The demand for labor is dash. A, composite demand. B, joint demand. C, derived demand. D, workers demand. Question number 5. The following are the factors promoting efficiency of labor, except A, increased benefit. B, availability of medical care. C, labor law. D, labor restriction. Now let's answer them one after the other. The question number 1 that said the money paid per hour or weekly for work done is known as wage rate. It is the wage rate that is being paid for a work done per hour or per week. 2. The second question that says the total amount of goods and services the labor can use his money to buy is referred to as real wage. Real wage, or the purchasing power of labor, is what they refers to as the money. Is what we refer to as the total amount of goods and services the labor can purchase with the money he was being paid for the work done. The number 3 that talks about labor force can also be referred to as dash. Labor force can be referred to as active population. Any active population of a particular country is what we refer to as labor force. For example, in Nigeria, we said the labor force in Nigeria range between the age of 18 to 65. The next one that says the demand for labor is dash. The demand for labor is derived demand. Employers demand for labor because of what the labor can provide, the service they can provide, or the goods they can produce. Therefore, it's because of the products that they can produce that the employers are demanding for labor. And the last one is the following are the factor promoting efficiency of labor, except increased benefit is a factor, availability of medical care is a factor, labor law is a factor. The other one, which is labor restriction, is not among. Therefore, that is the correct answer, which is option number D. The topic we are considering is population. Population is defined as the total number of people living within a country or a geographical location at a particular time. It is also refers to the total number of children, youths, and adults living in a geographical area such as a village, such as town, city, or country over a period of time. Now, what is population census? Population census may be defined as the head count of all nationals of a country at a particular time. It is the counting by the government of all the children, boys, girls, men, and women, including disabled people, in the country at a particular period of time. Census are usually taking place every 10 years in the country. Now let's consider the characteristics of a good population census. A good population census must be conducted by the government of the state or the country where the census is taking place. Also, it must be conducted at the same time simultaneously throughout the country. It mustn't be the one that will be conducted at the time here and another time over there. No, it must be conducted simultaneously throughout the particular country. Also, it must involve regular counting at a specific interval of time. For example, in Nigeria, it's usually between 10 years. It happened in 1953, it happened in 1963, the following one happened in 1973, and it continues like that. Also, it must reveal the population of a country at a specific period of time. That at this specific period of time, what is the total number of the people in that particular country. Also, it must involve the physical counting of people rather by proxy. It must also involve experts who are knowledgeable in population studies, and they must be of high integrity. That is, the personnel must be someone that are literate about the population census. Not just anybody will be involved in the activity. Now, what are the types of population census that we have? We have two major types of population census, and they are: one, de facto population census. This type of population census involves the counting of only those who are present physically during the time of the census. And the second one, we call it the jure population census. And this type of population census involves the counting of people who have been permanent residents of a particular country. That means it doesn't involve everybody, but those that have been permanent residents of that particular country. That is, those that were involved. It does not matter whether the person is present or not, as long as we regard the person as a registered permanent resident of that particular country. We refer to such a person as an eligible one to be counted. Also, this population census commonly refers to as counting by proxy. Now, what are the importance of population census? Population census aid the government to know the number of people living in the country and the structure of the population. It also aids the government determine the taxable adults so as to know the amount of revenue to be expecting as the government over a particular period of time. It enables the country to forecast for the future in terms of the economic needs that will be needed in the nearest future. Population census also provides statistics to the government to determine the level of unemployment in the country. It assists the government in the determination of the standard of living of the people in that country throughout the particular period of time. Also, it is used for the statistics. The statistics of the population is used for the country, by the government of that country for some revenue formula and the way the other resources will be shared among the sectors in the country. Also, the estimation of the number of immigrants into a country, those that will coming from other country into that particular country, will be determined over a particular period of time. It also assists the government in the distribution of the resources. Like I said earlier, the areas that are more populated will need more resources than the areas that are scarcely populated. And lastly, it gives the government the idea of different population in different parts of the country. The determinant of population size and growth. We have three major determinants. One, we have birth rates, we have death rates, and we have migration. Now let's take them one after the other. The birth rate, or what we call natality rate, of a country refers to the rate at which children are being given birth to in that particular country. Generally, high birth rate may lead to increase in population or overpopulation, while low birth rates can lead to low population. Then